Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Mrs. Mummy PhD podcast. I am your host, Michelle Gibbs, and I am passionate about helping scholarly mamas like you navigate your journeys with purpose so you can achieve your life and academic goals without sacrificing what matters. The reality is that scholarly mama life is multidimensional. We're scholars, yes, but we're also mothers, wives, and so much more with whole lives outside of academia. So how do we successfully navigate all this? Well, first, we need the space to embrace this unique blend. Only then can we begin the important work of becoming purposefully whole. And part of my own purposeful work is to create a space for us as scholarly mamas to grow, to reflect, and to become everything that we were meant to be. So, mama, are you in? Fabulous. Let's begin. These are our journeys of becoming. Hey mamas, welcome to the first episode of my podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know you're probably wondering why on earth did I start this podcast? And before I get into that, I just kind of wanted to reiterate how happy and grateful I am that you're here and that you're giving me this time to listen and just connect with me in a different way. I know many of you read my blog and I thank you so much for your commitment and just for following me on Instagram and other places. Thank you so much. So just like the blog, I actually wanted to start this podcast a few years ago. And of course, we all know what the year 2020 turned out to be. And I just never got around to doing it. Life just got busy and I just never got around to doing it. But I'm still glad you're here. On that note, actually, if any of you are on Instagram, you can follow me at Mrs. Mummy PhD, or you can find me on the blog mrsmummyphd.com. So as this is the first episode, I thought I'd just spend a few minutes just sharing my journey, sharing who I am, and giving you a bit of an introduction for those of you who don't already know me. One of the main reasons why I started a blog and I'm starting this podcast is because I wanted to create an outlet for myself, a little corner of the internet, a place where I could share my thoughts and experiences as a scholarly mama. But more importantly, I wanted a way of connecting with other scholarly mamas and to have them connect with each other. I wanted to build a community of scholarly mamas. I wanted it to be a space where we could reflect on our journeys and a space for deeper insight into who we are and who we're becoming. And that was my vision for Mrs. Mummy PhD. And just like the blog, of course, with the unexpected events of 2020, global pandemic and all, launching this podcast did not go to plan. Launching the blog did not go to plan. And so everything was kind of put on hold for a bit. For those of you who might remember, I was also pregnant for the majority of 2020. And so here we are a few years later. So after the 2020 that we all had, just like everyone else, I was also looking forward to 2021. And decided to put myself out there finally and start the platform, mrsmummyphd.com. But I didn't quite get to do the podcast because, hello, one thing at a time, mama. I'm only doing a PhD, have 3 kids, married and everything else. So the podcast kind of took a bit of a backseat. But after the 2023 start that we had, those of you who follow me on Instagram on Mrs. Mummy PhD or follow me on the blog mrsmummyphd.com, you would know that we've recently lost a very, very close friend very suddenly to cancer. And so that kind of just reminded me and reignited my desire to do what I consider to be some of my purposeful work and to start the podcast. So, I'm hoping that it would be a platform where I could share my own journeys of becoming, but of course that you guys can also share yours and, be inspired by me and vice versa. And I say journeys of becoming. This is a phrase that you'll hear me using quite often because we're all on various journeys of becoming all sorts of things. We're on journeys of becoming spouses, mamas, academics, entrepreneurs, and so much more. We're constantly evolving and growing into who and all that we were meant to be. So I suppose when you experience grief and loss, it makes you reflect on life. It makes you reflect on what you want out of life. And so I've decided that I am not going to put my happiness on hold until I achieve this or that. I want to be happy now. So I believe that we can live and learn as we carry on these journeys with joy and purpose. And this is important because when we arrive at our destination, we need to be fully and authentically ourselves. Otherwise, what was the point? So we need to be fulfilled and appreciative of the lessons that we've learned in the process. And that empowers us to help others through theirs by sharing our experience. I believe that this is true for our academic journeys, or career journeys, or motherhood journeys, or marriage or relationship journeys, but it's also true for our financial journeys, spiritual journeys, entrepreneurial journeys. In fact, it's true for any journeys that we find ourselves on. These are all our journeys of becoming. They're all a part of you. They all carry a part of you. Who you were yesterday and who you are today and who you will be tomorrow. As I juggle the demands of my own journeys of becoming, I know that I'm certainly not alone in this. In fact, quite the opposite. I know that you, just like me, probably face countless challenges along your very own journeys of becoming, but you press on anyway. However, there is comfort in knowing that you're not alone. And it's why I wanted to build this little supportive community for scholarly mamas where we could share the highs and lows of our journeys of becoming. And you know what? It was the scarcity of colleagues with similar circumstances that really became apparent for me on my PhD journey, despite the friendly interactions with fellow researchers who clearly understood the challenges of the PhD grind. As one of few in my circle that was married with kids and doing a part-time PhD, I felt like the exception more than the rule. And it can be so isolating to feel like this, to feel that you're the only one having to juggle the struggles of finding balance in the chaos, unable to find that mutual moral support. No scholarly mama should have to feel like this. A PhD journey is isolating enough in itself. And so this ignited my determination to share my experiences of seeking joy in the journey holistically. And I hope it will offer some sense of hope and inspiration for those of you who are listening and who are joining me on this journey. So I've accepted that it's simply not possible for me to devote every waking hour and thought to my academic journey. This is just not realistic. This is often the perception, though, in academia to achieve success, but I'm able to reflect deeply on how all areas of my life contribute to the person that I am becoming. I'm seeing how my circumstances do make me stronger and make me a more well-rounded individual. Just because I have a family doesn't mean I can't do a PhD, and just because I'm doing a PhD doesn't mean that my family doesn't come first. So here it is. Here is the podcast. Here is the platform. Here is Mrs. Mummy PhD. Here is the part of my own purposeful work that almost didn't happen because I faced intrinsic challenges with starting Mrs. Mummy PhD. When I initially had the idea, I thought, goodness, well, who's going to read about this? Who on earth wants to hear about my journey? Could I win the internal battle against the perfectionism that was holding me back? These questions permeated my thoughts for quite some time. And I must admit, because of my intrinsically introverted nature, I really didn't think I could do this. You haven't even finished your PhD yet, so how could you be an inspiration to someone else doing theirs? I'd ask myself. Once I even got as far as brainstorming potential ideas for the platform. And of course, that would have been, that was for the very, very distant future, of course. But even then, I conveniently abandoned the idea. Even then, I reflect more on this idea of holding back and what keeps us back from pursuing our purposeful work in episode 3. But what I didn't consider was that you guys, you scholarly mamas, could benefit from reading about my own journeys of becoming, knowing that you're not alone in your struggle, and also that those benefits could be reciprocated from your experiences as well. So in addition to starting the podcast and the platform, I also wanted to create a space for support. Sometimes it's just on one of those roller coaster days that you just kind of need to know that you're not alone. Anyone doing a PhD, and trust me, any mother doing a PhD knows very well what I'm talking about here. But sometimes we just put things off because we feel, we need more time and more time and more time to perfect it, or just a lack of confidence, our old friend, the imposter syndrome. If I want to inspire others through my evolving narrative, then I have to take the plunge. I have to embrace the uncertainty and step out of my comfort zone. So here I am. So likewise, if there's something lingering on your to-do list, if there's something within you that you just can't shut off, it's giving you purposeful work vibes, then my advice is to just do it. Even now that I've started this podcast, I have no idea exactly what's going to come out of it, but I'm doing it anyway. It's okay. It's okay to not know what's coming next. The truth is, we're all a work in progress on a continuous journey through which we get to know ourselves better and discover not only our journey so far and where we want to go, but also to embrace the gift of the present. So thinking about my PhD journey so far, I can tell you I have had my share of challenges. Got a few hours? Just kidding. From struggling to find the balance between home life and PhD life, to funding challenges, supervisors changing, feeling like an imposter, challenges with recruitment to my studies, and so much more. I have felt like walking away from this PhD a few times on this journey, but I am still here. Why? Well, I hope you'll come back and listen and share and find out. When I started Mrs. Mummy PhD, I was on maternity leave. Now I am just a few months away from submitting my thesis, and trust me, it's been a very, very long journey. I'm just about to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and trust me, it's been a very long tunnel. But I realize that even this near the end of the tunnel stage is not without its challenges either. And so I hope that as you continue to tune in and share and listen, that you'll be encouraged. And, even if it is that you decide that you want to change paths, or this isn't for you, being in academia or what have you, is not for you, then that's totally fine. Because once you're a scholarly mama, you kind of are always a scholarly mama. Well, in my eyes, at least. Whatever your journey, may you always have the strength to do what you must do for your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Your loved ones deserve the best version of you, but most importantly, you deserve the best version of yourself. So, Mama, now it's over to you. How can you own your journeys of becoming, and how can you inspire others through them? I'd love for you to connect with me on social media at Mrs. Mummy PhD. or head over to mrsmummyphd.com and let's connect there. Yay! That's the first episode done. I can't believe the podcast is out there. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to, you can share this episode with another scholarly mama you know, and let's continue the conversation. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Mrs. Mummy PhD podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you did and you want in on this movement, why not head over to mrsmummyphd.com. You can join the waitlist for our exclusive community of smart, purposeful, scholarly mamas. We'd love to see you on the inside. Remember, mama, these are our journeys of becoming.